Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And just remember, if you like this channel, like what you see, please subscribe. That will help greatly. I plan on doing a lot more things in the future. I like to do home projects and, just like everyone, like to save money, but you got to know your limitations into what you can do and what you feel like you can tackle. And so I think it's very important that you try and do as much as you can, because as a homeowner, it does save you money if you can do that. And that's what this channel is about, is saving you money and just having fun. Maybe teaching you something new that you don't know. And again, I am just a regular old guy, and I just like to do things myself and figure it out if I possibly can. And that big pile of leaves behind me, or trees I should say, inside that trailer are trees that I cut down probably about, I would say, at least 200 trees, if not more. I have an electric chainsaw that I used for that. I did have regular gas-powered ones, and I just prefer electric one because when you don't use use those two-stroke chainsaws, if you let them sit for a while, the gas tends to go bad. But with the battery one, all you do is just plug it in, the charger, the battery, and then recharge your battery. You're ready to go. Make sure your chain is lubed, tightened, sharp, which is very important. So I have a 12-inch DeWalt chainsaw, which I'll show you in a little bit. Things that you need when you're doing this type of project. And what I have been doing, I'll show a little bit of that right now. So I'm just going to flip the camera around. What I've been doing here is I cut a path through my just part of my property here. I'm going to do this multiple times throughout the property. That's what I've been working on and moving all these trees up. And what I'm doing is when I chop those trees up, mulch them down, I am just creating this mulch that's on the ground here. So there were trees here, just look just like this or just like that. You can see there's some trees down over there. They're kind of red in color. They've been sitting for about a month now. And I've got some more here that I just kind of left there, which I'm getting ready to clean up in just a little bit. And around this whole property, I got a total of about 5 acres. Probably about 2.5 is cleared. So I got lots of trees at all times that are either dying, or these small pines that are kind of in the way. If you let them, what happens is they just kind of form like a barrier where you can't get into the woods. So this is just a nice way of using this wood chipper here. I'm going to show you that. This is a Champion wood chipper. Got this at Home Depot. And once I get the camera mounted, I will talk a little more about that. And as you can see, this is a pile of trees I just collected. This took me about an hour to pick them all up. They were on the ground. And it took me a couple hours probably to cut down all these trees, maybe less. I used mainly lopper most of these, because some of them are under 2 inches and it's fairly easy to do with a lopper. The bigger ones I use a chainsaw for. And I've got this old lawn tractor. I've had this John Deere for 20 plus years now. It's a great lawn tractor. I won't buy another brand. I'll probably just stick with John Deere. Basic maintenance to it. You just gotta be sure you change the oil every season. I put a battery in it. I've changed the blades. Still has the original tires, believe it or not. They still look good. They're not rotted. So everything works there. I've got nothing to say but good things with this Kohler engine. That right there is the DeWalt chainsaw I got. That's a nice little 12-inch saw. Does what I need as a homeowner. Probably don't need nothing else. For some of these bigger trees like these here, or I've got a couple I want to take down. There's one that's leaning over here I just saw. Woodpecker's been getting in the middle of it, so I'm going to have to take that down. Might be a little much for this 12-inch chainsaw, so I might have to go to an 18-inch chainsaw for that one. These sticks here are just something that I was going to put through the chippers. They were left over from a project that I had done, which I'll be sharing within the next few days. And I'm just going to chip that up and put that through the wood chipper, because I don't know what else to do with it, and why not just make mulch of it instead of throwing it out. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with chopping up this big pile of branches. I think it's going to take me probably about an hour or so to do this. It is now, what time? 4:40 in the afternoon. So we'll see how long it takes to get through this pile. Alright, welcome back. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with this. There's an operating procedure to this. This is a Champion 3-inch wood chipper. I did look at electric wood chippers, but I found that they weren't going to be satisfactory for their needs. At first I thought they were. I wanted something that was going to be easy to move and didn't require any type of maintenance, but I started realizing that actually I had too much to do that an electric wood chipper would be able to handle. So, and they were pretty much limited. I think the biggest one you can get was 2.75 inches, which was going to be a little small. Some of my branches are 3, but I don't usually go past the 3-inch mark with that because you're going to need a much more expensive chipper than this. This one was, I bought this at Home Depot. It came all together. It's got a nice safety here where you put your wood through. You can put that in there and it just prevents things from shooting back out at you. And here is it's kind of like a hopper. What you do is you just put your loose sticks in there and some little shrubs, stuff like this that's on the ground. You can put stuff like that in there. I wouldn't put anything more than things like that. It says it can take up to a ½ an inch of wood, but I would not do anything bigger than that because you might damage that. This here has a 224cc engine. It says it's made by Champion. It does have a fuel gauge that's on the top, which I find pretty nice because usually what I try and do is just go through one full tank of gas and that's my work for the day. That'll get me through this wood pile that I showed you. And you know, it's just a lot of work, a lot of noise. And this flywheel is so heavy just because the mechanism that's chopping up the wood, it has weights on it, and the chipper itself. So it's just very heavy to pull this once it's been started. It's a little harder to restart, so it's better to start this when it's cold. I found that, so I'll just let it sit if I want to restart it, and then it seems to be a lot easier to start. One of the things that I find very important too that I liked about this is it has the fuel cutoff feature. You cut the fuel off through here. It has the choke. I always cut the fuel off, let the engine die down by the fuel in the carburetor. That way, if this thing's going to sit for a while, it's going to pull all that fuel out of the carburetor and not sit there and cause your fuel to gum up, and then your jets get all clogged and you end up having to rebuild a carburetor, or it becomes very difficult to start. This doesn't run right. So it's the same thing I do with all my equipment, except for this lawnmower that I have here that it doesn't have that feature, but I use it frequently, so that's not really a concern. And you just use good quality fuel. With this though, because I'm not going to be using this as frequently as I use any other equipment, you just want to be sure you get all that fuel out of the carburetor. And that way you'll be sure to start that in the future. And then I always run the tank dry. That's why I just go through one tank of fuel, because I know I'm not going to let fuel sit there and maybe not get back to it for maybe a couple months or something. And it just prevents that fuel from going bad. So that's why I just always go through one full tank. That's it, unless I know I'm going to be doing it for a longer period of time. Champion did include this bag. It's a pretty heavy bag here. I think it holds about a cubic yard. No, maybe not a cubic yard. I usually stop when it gets right about here, just because it gets kind of heavy. And also on the back though, this happened shortly after buying it. I haven't done it again, but it's got a little zipper here. It has 2 zippers, and this zipper actually broke. So I did not get another bag, and I just don't want to open that and risk this bag and then not being able to seal, so I just haven't been messing with it, because before I was always pulling this open, dumping it out that way. But what I decided to do is just go ahead and then it's got these little toggles right here, And what I decided to do is just go ahead and loosen it up, stretch the bag out, turn it upside down, pour it into my wheelbarrow, and then when I get to a certain point, filling up my wheelbarrow, then I'll go dump my wheelbarrow. That way I'm not walking back and forth. The bag attaches pretty easily. Here, one thing you have to be aware of is when you're right over here, is just be sure that this does not get too full. If it feels like there's no air going into your bag, or you notice that it's like the pitch changes in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to hear that, and that's going to alert you that that might be clogged up. Because I had that happen one time, and it's probably the only time it's going to happen, is it clogged up, and then it has a clean out in the back, but you end up having to take, I ended up having to take this whole thing apart on the back side just to clean that clog out. It took me about an hour and a half to take it apart, put it back together, clean the clog out, just because it got packed in there and I didn't realize it was happening, just because I was concentrating on just shoving stick after stick in there, and you know, next thing I know, it's backed up and it stopped all of a sudden. And you know, I tried to just take the bolts that are in the back there's 3 of them, to clean that out, and just wasn't able to do it, so I ended up having to take this whole thing apart. This is pretty heavy solid steel, as you can hear. That's pretty heavy, and this thing is very loud, so be sure you use ear protection with that. And this is a nice D handle. You need this to pull that flywheel to get this thing going. So this is really pretty handy here to have something that big to pull. And I'll show the starting procedure here. I opened it up already. I'm going to open the fuel here, let the fuel flow into the tank, and put the choke on, just because you want to choke it down to start it. Attach this bag here. Just secure it down. Get that going. Be sure you got your ear protection on. Sorry, I was looking for my gloves. I left my gloves over there in the wheelbarrow. So I like these firm grip gloves too. This is my probably 3rd pair of these that I've had. They fit me pretty nice. They've got a nice grip here. They're reinforced all throughout. Nice thing to protect your back of your hands as you're digging in things. So they work really well. They're about 15 bucks for these. Every once in a while, if you look through Home Depot, you'll see them in the clearance aisle, and then you see them for under 10 bucks or a steal. Alright, so this is going to get pretty loud. Once it gets going, I'm just going to go ahead and start throwing some wood through there. So you won't be able to hear me. It's going to get loud, and you'll see how fast it can go. I will throw probably a pretty large one through first. Some of the things you got to be careful of when you're doing that is just to be sure that the Ys, you don't want nothing that's wider than this 3-inch hole, and be sure that those branches are flexible in order to get them through that hole, because if you can't get that in here, you can't get those branches to crush down, you're not going to be able to push that wood in, and you'll end up with a jam. So that's just something to remember. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. There's an on button here. I already put that on. There's an off when you turn it off. Here you got to put your foot here in order to start this. It might take a couple times. let that run until it finally dies. Turn it off. Turn it off. Spinning for a little bit. Alright, so what I did is I just pulled all that fuel out of that carburetor just so that it'll make it prevent that gas from sitting there, just in case I don't get back to this for a couple months. But I'm pretty sure I'll be getting back to this job. I've still got a quarter of a tank, so over a course of about an hour and 45 minutes, it burnt 3/4 of a tank of gas. I can't remember the amount of gas that's in there, but what I'll do is I'll look and see if I can put that number in there as this video goes. I'll see if I can remember to do that. Other than that, I did a pretty nice job here. I still got one more bag I have to empty out of there, and I have those two piles there from all those trees. So that just goes to show that that's all I'll get, and that I'll spread that out, and it won't go much further than that point right there. So that's my job for the day. If you learned anything new, you like what you see, there's going to be more stuff to come. Please subscribe at the end. And again, this channel is just going to be to show homeowners different items they're going to use throughout the house at all times. What's up and coming is I did get a new NAS that I'm going to install. If you don't know what that is, it's just a network attached storage. And I'm going to finish up a little porch project I've been doing on my deck, and I'll show some results of that. And Power Cube by Bora that I have my miter on. I'm also going to be doing a power auger that's by Ryobi. It's a 40-volt power auger, and also a 40-volt pull chainsaw that I got with that. So remember, if you're interested in any of those items, please subscribe. And there's always going to be something different on here. It can be food. There's also a festival that we're going to be going to in our local community. It's a seafood festival, so that's coming up next month, and we'll show some of that. And that's on the Chesapeake Bay. So there's a lot to come up, and please subscribe if you're interested. Thank you. Have a good night. Or have a good day. Hi, this is Robert again. I just wanted to share with you the final result of all the wood that I had chipped up, all those trees that I took off that trailer. When I last left you, the trailer was empty, but I did have a couple piles of mulch sitting down that path that I created through my woods. We use that path now just to walk our dogs through, or as a cut through to my house. It's just a decorative touch. It really serves no other purpose, but our dogs enjoy taking another path as we walk them. And we have two dogs, so we try to rotate which way we walk them around. the property, and we usually go around the edges of our woods. We have like a path that can take about 15 minutes or so if we take the full path around. And it's just a nice walk for the dogs. They sniff, smell, uh, things like that. So I just wanted to share with you what we had, how that job turned out, and how far that mulch did. I still have more mulch to lay out. As you can see behind me, there's another path here. I just don't really want to grow grass there because I just rather throw some of that mulch down from all the trees that we have. And I cut back a lot of these pines. What they do is they form like a barrier along the edge of your property if you let them grow, and they grow really fast. So those are the ones that I've been cutting down and leaving some of the hardwoods. I did leave some of the pines there, and just scattered throughout. If you can see behind me, there's an edge of some thin pines. I'll probably just cut those out and leave the larger one around the corner. And here, I'll just turn around here, and this is the pathway behind me that I cut through. It did have you know, it was filled with trees, just like you see to my left and right behind me. And what I did is I just went through with some loppers, cut down a small tree, then went down with a chainsaw and finished them off into the ground. I don't need any type of tree stump or nothing, you know, tree stump remover to do that. The trees themselves and the path I chose, I made sure that the path I cut through didn't have any large trees in it, that I had to really worry about getting the stump out of the ground. I was able just to do it with a chainsaw so that it's flush and level, so it doesn't become a tripping hazard, because that's one thing you don't want to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk through this path here. I'm going to turn the phone around. Alright, so this is a different view. I'm just going to walk through here and see what I did. I made the path so that, you know, me and my wife can walk through with the dogs and still have a wide enough path to come through here, you know, I'll just use my rake that I was using to rake this mulch out. As you can see, there's a difference in color just because, you know, this is dried. Here in the back is it's the same pine or multitude of different trees that we have here, and that's why you're seeing two different colors. This is just freshly chipped up yesterday. This is where I started with that full trailer load of trees, and how far that was able to get with that mulch right about here. And then I'll turn around here, and I was able to get all the way out there with that trailer of mulch. That trailer is 4x8, and I had it piled high, you know, it's probably 4 to 5 feet tall, with a bunch of trees in there. You know, there are small pines kind of, you know, I still got to clean all this up. This is just some leftover stuff. So, just along the edges here, because what we're going to do is run a bunch of plants along this edge here. You can see we already have some soil and stuff we're getting ready to do. I bought a power auger to get through some of this here to dig holes for plantains. There's going to be a review coming at that. It's a Ryobi 40 volt battery operated auger that will actually dig an 8-inch hole up to 31 inches deep. So that will be up and coming. It's fairly new on the market. I really haven't seen much about it, and just wanted to give it a try. I was going to get a gas one, but then I saw this and thought, you know, how often are we going to use it? And if it's sitting around for a little while, it's just one less maintenance item to go bad. And I can also use that battery. It's a 40 volt battery with a pole saw that I bought. So just going through here, as you can see, this is just a nice little pathway, and it just, you know, comes up to the edge of our house here. So as you can see here, just another feature to go through. I'm going to put another one coming through over here somewhere. I've got a big open field in the back here that's fully open. As you can see, I already cut down some trees there. They're just sitting there drying out. I found that with the... So I'm just going to say that a lot of this that what we've done has all been by hand. I did a lot of trees that I cut down, as you can see behind me here. Those, you can see the redness, the red behind me. That's a bunch of small pines that I cut down. I did that about a month ago. I did it all at one time throughout my whole property. I worked over a full probably 3 days on and off, going and cutting these trees down, and I'm just letting them sit to dry out a little. I find the needles of the pines actually go through there a little better if you let it dry out. Then you have less chance of them clogging. They don't really grind up with that chipper, but what happens is as it rains, they tend to float to the top of this mulch here behind me. As you can see, there's a little red. I just went through and scraped some of that stuff off to the side that was sitting on the top, and the mulch now is fine on the bottom. So I really like that Champion wood chipper. I would recommend that over, an electric wood chipper. I think I had said before that the wood chipper I was looking at, the electric ones get up to 2.75 inches, but actually I meant 1.75 was the biggest, and from this particular application, that would not have worked. So I would definitely recommend, if you got a lot of wood chipping to do, use a gas-powered one, 3-inch capacity at least. If you go smaller with that, you're probably going to regret it and want to get something bigger. So I would definitely recommend at least a 3-inch chipper for home use and nothing more at that point, because what you can do, you build a little, with the bigger over 3 inches, you can actually cut those up with the chainsaw and use them for like firewood or something similar like that, and just mulch up the smaller pieces that are under 3 inches, cut it down, and then you have that leftover big end. So that's something I would recommend to do with your wood chipper. And that's it. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, just be sure that you subscribe. And there's going to be future topics that are going to be coming up. One of those is going to be a Ryobi 40-volt auger. That's battery powered. I got that instead of gas because along this pathway we're going to put a bunch of plantains and going to have to dig some holes. So if you ever dug holes with a post hole digger or with a shovel, it can take a long time, and with an auger it goes right through. So I chose that over a gas one just because of the maintenance itself, and I know I'm only going to dig so many holes and then it's going to sit for a while until I dig more. But I have alternate plans for that, of building a deck in our backyard also that's going to extend off the back of our house. I just completed a porch project where I rebuilt my whole deck and porch, and I'm going to go show that in just a minute. So, or actually I'm just going to take a picture of the finished product, and then I already put some stuff together, I just haven't posted it yet. So that will be upcoming too, some of the just the finished work. I might post some pictures of actually me working down the stairs, because I really don't have any experience as a woodworker. I just like to get out and do it. My wife has a furniture business. It's Two Cats Vintage. You can follow that on Instagram if you like. And she's a furniture artist, so I do a lot of work for her, where I help repair her furniture prior to her painting it and or refinishing it. She also does customer work where she refinishes things for people. It could be tables, chairs, dressers, things like that. So sometimes I have to recreate drawers or slides or re-square something up for her. So that's basically where my experience comes from woodworking, is doing things like that, and I just like to have fun with it and figure it out. If I don't have to pay someone to do it, that's fine, but you got to know your limitations. There's times where you do have to hire a professional to do jobs, but many times you can save a lot of money if you can just do simple stuff at home and just try and figure out how it works and repair it yourself, and you can save yourself a bundle of money. Because I know if I hired somebody for every job that I needed completed around here, that's all I'd be doing is paying someone. So it's just more cost efficient if you're able to just do that work yourself and save yourself the money, and maybe go out to dinner with the family or save up for a vacation. Okay. Anyways, I threw my phone on the ground, dropped it. So, anyways, hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you like what you see, just subscribe.